Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be checking out the Z-43 Innovative Toxins Plant, which is a location in the Big MT. Now, prior to the Great War, this plant was used for research on various substances poisonous to humans. Most notably, they were heavily involved in the Sierra Madre experiment, which was financed by the Sierra Madre's founder, Frederick Sinclair. And the decision to use an inhabited city as an experimental area did cause widespread concern, especially among lower-ranking scientists, and their concerns were valid. When there was a detected leak of the experimental chemicals from Z-43, the executives of the Big MT quickly offered prototype chemical suits for protection. However, these suits were in fact an experiment themselves and led to the emergence of the Ghost People. Pretty freaking terrible, turning their own citizens, Americans, into guinea pigs. But hey, what else would you expect from the big heads at the Big MT? And then here is the location of Z-43 on the map. As you can see, it's just west of the sink. Now, as you approach, you will find a lot of radiation. You might find various enemies in the area, such as lobotomites, or night stalkers, or maybe some Y-17 trauma harnesses. But there isn't a whole lot on the outside. I did find this skeleton hugging a bag of flour, which I found to be quite humorous. And as you approach, you will notice a Z-43 sign, and there's all of these hexacrate kind of pillars surrounding the facility. And on the garage door there, we can see one of the markings left by Ulysses. But besides that, there isn't a whole lot. There is a Sunset Sarsaparilla vending machine, and there's some metal boxes. You can always check out metal boxes because they contain random loot. Sometimes they have ammunition and bottle caps. Inside, we have this awesome snack machine with various snacks, and then just kind of like a reception-like area. You will be constantly being irradiated inside. If we come over here to this kind of collapsed mailbox, we will find a corrosive glove. Be very careful when you take it. That's right, upon taking this corrosive glove, you will be ambushed by no more than 7 Y-17 trauma harnesses. I'm playing on very hard difficulty, and I didn't really want to waste a bunch of time fighting these guys, so I used some low yield Fat Man mini nukes on them, and that really, well, helped clear them out. There was one straggler. I just used the alien blaster to deal with him rather quickly and rather humorlessly, as we just kind of played Ring Around the Rosie. But after killing all of those harnesses for just taking a simple glove, we can now explore this facility in peace. And over here, we have this kind of small room in the back. There's a bunch of filing cabinets and stuff like that. Over here, we have a chemistry set, and we can actually use this chemistry set to do one of two things. You can either create some stim packs or create some chems. It's up to you, of course. And over here in the other corner, we can find a foot locker, which just contains random ammunition. Also, something I failed to mention, my Hazmat testing ground video, which was a few episodes ago, we can find a Hazmat pod security code, which will actually unlock the security pod at the Hazmat testing ground, giving us the Hazmat helmet and suit, which will give you the appearance of a ghost person. Now, if you have the sonic emitter upgraded, you don't need to worry about getting the security code. You can just use the sonic emitter on the security pod. Now, as we come upstairs and we come across this catwalk, we can find a terminal with a very interesting entry that reads, "Got word today there was a chemical leak at the Sierra Madre. Sinclair was on the phone to ask for more help from the think tank execs. So they're sending him the prototype chemical suits to protect the villa workers. Looks like they're following up an experiment with another experiment. The whole process creeps me out, and the way they are monitoring the Sierra Madre villa and examining the results. I don't think Sinclair even know what he's really paid for. To be guineas like the little Yangtze Chinese. Maybe it'd be merciful if war did break out. Put an end to this chain of horrors." Obviously, though, when the war did break out, it really only made things worse for the poor people of the Sierra Madre. Now, continuing along the catwalk, this location is also a great place to find drain energy cells, so they are littered about the facility. Also on the Y-17 bodies, so pick them up if you need them to create some ammunition. Over here we can actually jump on the roof and we can find, well, a skeleton and an empty toolbox and stuff like that, but really not a whole bunch of loot over there. Also in this corner we can find more drained energy cells, so make sure you pick them up. There's also a locker over here that is kind of highlighted by this light, and inside we can find more drained energy cells, so if you need it, there you go. Did want to point out that behind Z-43, we can find this duffel bag with random loot inside of it. Also on this hexacrete over here, we can find a very bloody scene. Don't know how that guy died, but perhaps he fell or something from a high area. Now, if you head back towards the sink, I just wanted to point out there are these boxes, but more interestingly, there is a puddle of radioactive water in which we have a refrigerator with radioactive food. And in this puddle over here by this box, we can find a hand sticking out of the water that has obviously succumbed to a very unfortunate death. I just thought it was kind of humorous, kind of interesting. Also, one last thing I want to mention is that if the sink computer is activated and you discover Z-43, during the ending slides, it will be revealed that the sink was eventually able to take control of the Z-43 plant and was able to develop antitoxins to counteract the substances that were leaking into the soil of the Big MT. So a somewhat happy ending for this place. Alright everyone, there it is, Z-43, a very interesting place with some very dark but important lore for the Fallout universe. What do you guys think of this place? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think of all of the connections that Big MT has to the Sierra Madre? And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any ideas or recommendations for future videos, future ideas, please post them in the comment section below. And as always, until next time.
Do you hear anything, Tank?